Doreen.
IEBC whistleblower shows Raila won the election. This is now what the Azimio coalition is saying. You remember yesterday the Secretary General Kanu, that is Jeremiah Kioni, did make some revelations in respect to this, and part of what featured in his revelations included that Raila Odinga did win with 8.5 million votes, but also what they are asking the president to do, even as we await that commission of inquiry to be constituted, is they are saying that this also needs to extend its probe to other election-related matters, as well as the various matters that have taken place in the election cycle 2017 and 2022. In fact, 2017, what they are saying is that this particular commission of inquiry needs to also look into the murder of Chris Musando, that is in a 2017 poll official. So that is part of what Azimio is now saying, even like I said, as we await that commission of inquiry to be constituted. Remember that also this was part of the recommendations by Wafula Chebukati as he was exiting office, just urging the president to look into this and also largely to look into the matters that prevailed on the 15th of August, just hours before the results were released. So that is also part of what is coming in respect to that. And just as you well know, largely today, a lot of conversations will be touching on the IEBC, and this is in respect to that special sitting. That is basically what is making headways and handbids in the news, given the fact that this is really quite an, I should say, a very important exercise. And this is because the National Assembly obviously passed that IEBC Amendment Act of 2022. That is, again, obviously seeking to reconstitute the selection panel of the selection panel that actually oversee the recruitment of this IEBC official. Perhaps I may just run you through part of what the National Assembly passed. That is in respect to this election panel. We are talking of a total of 7 members, of course, drawn from various areas within the political class. The Parliamentary Service Commission is supposed to giving 2, and this is a departure from what was in the previous Amendment Act, whereby the Parliamentary Service Commission was giving a total of 4 members. Now, in this new act, they are supposed to be giving a total of 2. The Interreligious Council still giving 2 as it were. The LSK 1, the Political Liaison Committee 1, and the Public Service Commission 1. However, what is coming to the fore in respect to this particular bill that is going to be debated today is that the Senate is looking into reducing the IRC, that is the Interreligious Council, to 1, as opposed to what was passed by the National Assembly, which is 2. And so then they add this 1 to the Political Liaison Committee, which currently has 1 to 2. But again, the realm of question has been, in respect to this IEBC Amendment Act and why it was even being amended in the first place, was so that you can reduce the voice of the political class in this capacity. So then the question is, if you're going to be adding the number to the Political Liaison Committee, so then why was it even necessary to amend this IEBC Act? Because again, it clearly shows that nonetheless the political class will still have a voice in respect to choosing the selection panel that will look into the recruitment of IEBC commissioners. But again, also what is really coming out strongly is that this is really going to be an interesting exercise to watch, because the new commissioners, aside from just overseeing the elections in 2027, as well as the mini by-elections that may come in between now and 2027, so to speak, is also the issue of the boundaries that is supposed to be looked into in the year 2024. Again, that is one of the key issues to be looking into. And away from that political note, now to the back page of the Daily Nation, and we look at matters education right now. Still a pertinent topic to discuss in the country, much as there's really quite the conversation on education reforms, and this is in respect to KUPPET, who now backs the Ministry of Education in respect to boarding schools. You remember that on Tuesday when the CS was releasing the placement of the KCPE students to know which schools they'll be joining in secondary, he did talk about boarding schools expanding their bounds and for them to also be having day wings. And this is now what the KUPPET is backing, and part of the biggest reason as to why this was being profiled is because of, particularly when you look at areas in the northern part of the country where sometimes it's a bit difficult to just maintain these children in some of these these boarding schools, and also the issue of access of some of these facilities, and again issue of reducing on cost. This is largely why the ministry is just urging for the boarding institutions to look into ways in which they can expand and also have day wings, and we're having KUPPET backing that. But also this is coming amidst what you're seeing in the education sector, particularly in respect to the CBC transition. We are also looking at the ongoing exercise as is by the Teachers Service Commission when it comes to the recruitment of the 30,000 teachers. And as you have kept saying, the biggest question has been how will the deployment of these teachers look like? Previously, there had been a recommendation that each school to get one teacher, but then we have slightly above 30,000 public schools in this country. So if that is the case, how then will one teacher be able to accommodate these learners in the junior secondary schools? Also, that part is featuring in this specific article.